Is there anything more disgusting than that weird clear liquid that comes out of the top of a ketchup bottle? What is that? What is that clear liquid that fully obliterates any hamburger you're about to put ketchup on? And why is it that I always forget that it's in there? 100% of my hamburgers are ruined by the clear liquid that resides at the top of a ketchup bottle. And you know the whole reason, you know how like you buy ketchup bottles upside down now? Wasn't that the whole point, to shove the ketchup down so that you don't get that liquid that comes out first? It still comes out. So that means it's ketchup, random little liquid at the bottom. I don't know, man. That's perplexing to me. Always remember, if you ever grab ketchup, the first squirt has to be right down the drain. Right down the drain in your sink, and then you're back to the ketchup. So on to some Wednesday bets, but there are only 2 games, so I wanted to remind you to always have that first squirt of ketchup directly down the sink anytime you're making a hamburger or hot dog or anything else of that nature. Now, what happened on Tuesday? Not a lot of good things, I'll tell you that. However, there is a silver lining. There's always a silver lining for this guy. Number 1, the New York Islanders have won 4 straight games, and as an Islander fan, that makes me very happy. And they came through on all of the bets we took. All sorts of Islanders combinations came through. One night after other Islanders combinations came through. So who would have thunk it? Earlier in the year, when you guys held your middle fingers up at the screen like I could see it, don't worry, I don't see it, but I can feel it. And you guys say, I'm never betting the Islanders again, you and your damn Islanders. Well, sometimes you got to ride the waves, and the Islanders have came through for us with unders before the All-Star break and with wins and unders post-All-Star break. The Islanders have treated us well. As far as the other teams last night, they did not treat us well. I tell you, maybe to be worried about Brian Elliott screwing you. You have to always be aware. If I give you a pick and it's in the morning and the starters aren't declared and you see Tampa playing and Brian Elliott's the starter, he can screw you any which way. And it's a little crappy that a night after the Devils blowing a 4-1 lead at home, you got the Lightning blowing a 3-1 lead at home and losing in overtime. However, you know, I always enjoy, like, look, the regular people, the regulars on the channel who are enjoying it, and you do your positive contributions. I obviously am not happy when you don't win. But the miserable people, the one who comment about, how can all you guys let this guy, and then what do they do? They secretly take my picks at night while disparaging me on this channel. So I can't lie. I'm a little happy when I have bad nights because I know they criticize me openly on the channel, but then they still take my picks at night. And to know that that guy lost. And listen, sir, if you're looking at this right now and you're cursing at the screen, then that means a guy you've never met is dictating your happiness at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. And if that's the case, it's pretty clear that you have a problem.
That's enough of that.
A gambling problem. And if you got a gambling problem, you call 1-800-GAMBLER. Somebody will be there to listen to you scream about me. So we got these 2 games here on a Wednesday. We got the Rangers hosting those Canucks, who screwed the 60-minute bettors the other night. And then we got the old North Stars, South Stars battle. The Minnesota Wild are taking on the Dallas Stars in Dallas. I'm going to have to squeeze a little bit here to find things that I like. And what the NHL, what are you doing? What are you doing? We just took how many days off? How is it possible? How is it possible? We have 2 rickety games on a Wednesday night when you could have fed us a whole lot more. What are you, who came up with this idea? You know what? Everyone's going to want to watch the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars tonight. What about on the West Coast? Now we're just not going to do any of that. We're just going to do nothing on a rusty Wednesday. I've always tried to set up dates on nights like Wednesdays, or I call them rusty Wednesdays. That's what I call Wednesdays. And who knows, maybe you can give double meaning to hump day. But I always try to set up dates on Wednesday nights because all your fun stuff with your friends and they're always going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights during non-football season, and Wednesday nights are the best time to hang out with somebody you're potentially asking to go on dates with. What am I talking about? No clue. The DraftKings Sportsbook promotion. Bet $5 on anything. Any one of these bets. Weird bets out there tonight. I'm going to give you some weird bets. bets. You bet 5 on anything, DraftKings Sportsbook will credit you with $200 in free bet credits. Doesn't matter what you bet, but what does matter is your age. You got to be over 21, and you got to be located in a state where sports betting is allowed. So on this Wednesday night, obviously a chalk pick would to say, hey, take the Rangers. How about we go to that other game first? Let's look at the North Stars, South Stars game. These Dallas Stars, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember we kept predicting how those games were going to end right before the All-Star break. They kept going to overtime. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's one that I missed, but have their last 4 or 5 games went to overtime? How many home overtime games? Well, I'm hoping there's one more because we can take an assortment of bets that will allow us to cash in on, you know, Dallas either losing or winning by 1. You guys kind of know what this is. I'm not going to go under 7.5 with the Minnesota Wild plus 1.5. One of my variations that I like is both teams under 4.5. I don't see either one of these teams scoring 5 goals in this game. You know, Dallas and Minnesota, they're 2 of our trustworthy under teams. They come through with unders all the time for us. Dallas just came through with an under the other night. So I want both teams under 4.5 goals with the Minnesota Wild plus 1.5 and under 2.5 goals in the first period. I'm obviously believing under in this one. I'm starting to notice Minnesota is really kind of struggling to score. It makes sense. They're kind of lacking offensive star power. So when you have to grind out victories, sometimes goals can be hard to come by. Ended up losing to Arizona the other night. And against Dallas, it's going to be a tough test, but usually they're able to keep these games within 1. I'm going to take that same game parlay. Now, in the other game, we got the Rangers and the Canucks. What do I like in this one? Well, I know on a couple of different sports books, I know Caesars will allow this. They allow you to same game player props and, you know, totals and money lines. Give me the Anthony Beauvillier over 2.5 shots on goal. Even if you just want to take that straight, that's fine, with a Rangers win. Anthony Beauvillier is the piece that the Islanders moved for Bo Horvat, along with a minor leaguer and a first-round pick. However, they have him slotted on the first line with Pettersson. So he's getting, you know, top line minutes, and he was put on the top power play unit. So if you're going to give me all those opportunities and you got a world-class player in Pettersson working with you, it's just that classic trickle-down effect. And you know he's trying to make a mark with his new team just like Bo Horvat is. So look for Anthony Beauvillier to at least fire a couple of pucks toward the net. I'll take the over on shots on goal for him. And in that same game parlay, I'll combine that with a Rangers win just to juice it up a little bit. I mean, you're going to have Shesterkin in this one. Halak played the last one. And Vancouver, I know the Devils really weren't able to. I know the Devils got a win, but this is a Bo Horvatless team that was poor to begin with. So this is a hard sell for me to convince me that Vancouver is going to win this one. Especially, you know, the Rangers do have stuff to play for. There's a lot of teams breathing up their neck. Pittsburgh won, Islanders won, Devils won the other night. Can't really let any of these points slip away. I imagine they will win this one. So give me the over on Beauvillier shots on goal with a Rangers win. I also will take an Artemi Panarin point. These are obviously high minuses. And then let's combine that with a under 6.5 in that Stars game. Yes, we got to buy that. You guys should be familiar with this. We got to buy a goal up to get it to 6.5 in that Stars game. And then we're going to combine that with either Panarin registering a point or the Rangers to win. Also, there's a guy on the Rangers who's on absolute fire. He's a first-round pick, young player, but he is on fire, and that's Filip. Now, when you're getting a player playing the best hockey of his career, because, you know, it's a short career so far, had a great stretch during the playoffs, but go check out his stats from the past 5 games. If you're getting him to register a point against a really bad defense in Vancouver at home, and it's just minus 105 or even, I'm going to have to take that one too. Give me over half of a point for Filip. And then going back, I'm going back and forth. There's only 2 games, all right? So maybe I'm doing a little jump rope here. Here, man. So in that Minnesota Dallas game, I'm going to take, this is one that I don't do, but on a night like tonight where you got to start digging for bets, neither team to score a goal in the first 10 minutes. That's going to get you plus money. And be ready for that bet come second and third round of the playoffs. That's probably going to be one of my favorites. It's one that I love. But no goals to be scored in the first 10 minutes of that game. We know the kind of effort we're going to get from Minnesota. We know they're kind of having trouble scoring, and it's not like Dallas is lighting the lamp. They play a pretty conservative style. I'm hoping this one starts as a chess match, get through that 10 minutes, and we'll be at a nice plus money bet. So neither goals in the first 10 minutes of that game. And that's really what I got for you on this Wednesday. You know, I'll try to get a couple wins for you here before we get into a bigger slate on Thursday, because the NHL is ridiculous and doesn't want to peel off some of those games on Thursday and give them to us Wednesday. I do not get it. Anyway, good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed to the OddsShopper channel here. You come find me on social media. The name is Andy, @AndyFrancis. And you can find me on all social media platforms with that name. And if you did that, you never know. Sometimes you get extra bets. Sometimes I throw stuff in my story. I mean, you guys would be sick if you saw how much you missed out on yesterday with the extra picks that I gave. Because sometimes I see last-minute lineup changes. I see a goalie start. Like I find out Vasilevsky's not starting. So I say, listen, if you can, it's not too late. Relax with the Tampa money line. But make sure you're following me on social media. I'm usually pretty decent at checking certain stuff. If you send me things, sometimes you get hidden with the others in the dreaded others folder, like a horror movie. You know that top right folder, the others? And sometimes I'm scared to go in there. You ever see who's in the others folder? Anyway, take it easy. I'll be back with you tomorrow.